Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh my goodness, my dear friends. The upcoming week of July 20th through the 24th is going to be an emotional roller coaster that will surely tug at every single one of our heartstrings. I have been watching the events unfold, and my heart just aches for the families involved in this terrible mess. We are stepping right into the middle of a storm, and the dark clouds are gathering over the Spencer and Falconeri families. It feels like just yesterday we were watching these young ones grow up, and now they are caught in a web of secrets and lies that could tear their lives apart forever. Let us start by talking about our beloved Anna Devane. Bless her heart, she has been through the ringer more times than we can count, but right now she is walking down a very dark and lonely path. As she steps back into her role as the police commissioner at the local department, she is carrying a heavy burden that nobody else can see. We know she is secretly suffering from those terrible, haunting visions of Peter August, and it is changing her. It is making her relentless, almost ruthless, as if she is driven by a deep, unresolved pain. She is not the warm, balanced woman we have loved for years. She is a woman on the edge, desperate to find someone to punish, and that makes her incredibly dangerous to anyone hiding a secret. In the latest glimpses of what is to come, I watched a deeply tense moment between Anna and the head of the WSB, Jack Brennan, right there in the cold, sterile interrogation room of the police station. Anna is convinced she has it all figured out. She passionately insists that Cassius Faison possessed the absolute strongest motive to pull the trigger on Director Ross Cullum that fateful night. You can just see the fierce determination in her eyes, that desperate need to close the case and make sense of the chaos that has taken over her town. But Jack Brennan, calm and collected as always, completely shuts her theory down. He makes it crystal clear that Cassius is not the man who shot Cullum. Now, we all know Cassius has a history as long as my arm and has done plenty of wicked things, but in this specific instance, his hands are clean of Cullum's blood. When Brennan dismisses her theory, it leaves Anna grasping for answers, completely unaware that the real culprit is just a young boy who grew up right under her nose in Port Charles. Meanwhile, the whole town is buzzing because Jason Morgan has finally returned to the canvas on the 20th of July. Oh, the relief we all felt knowing he was finally free from captivity. But before his release, the agony his family endured was simply unbearable. I want to talk about his sweet boy, Danny Morgan. My heart just breaks into a million pieces for that young man. He was absolutely desperate to see his father freed. Imagine being a young boy, completely helpless, watching your father locked away for a terrible crime he did not commit. The sleepless nights and the tears that boy must have shed are just too much for a mother's heart to bear. The real tragedy struck when Charlotte Cassadine, in a moment of shocking honesty, dropped a massive bombshell right into Danny's lap. She revealed to him that Jason was completely innocent, and the person who actually shot Cullum was none other than Rocco Falconeri. Can you even imagine the shock that must have coursed through Danny's veins? To find out that your own friend, someone from your extended community family, is the reason your beloved father is sitting in a cold cell, taking the blame for something so horrific. Danny's reaction was a mixture of pure devastation and fiery anger. He was furious at Rocco for staying silent, for letting an innocent man take the fall while he hid in the shadows. And honestly, who could blame him? When you love your family, you will do anything to protect them, and Danny felt a profound sense of betrayal. He was grieving for his father's lost time and boiling with resentment toward Rocco for lacking the courage to stand up and confess to his terrible mistake. It is such a heavy burden for a teenager to carry. Driven by this fierce love for his father, Danny did something incredibly brave. He marched right up to Jack Brennan and laid the absolute truth out on the table. He told the head of the WSB everything he knew about Rocco pulling the trigger. It takes a monumental amount of guts for a young person to approach a powerful man like Brennan and spill such a heavy, dangerous secret. Unfortunately, as we know, Brennan had bigger fish to fry at the time, and the agency seemed to brush the local tragedy under the rug to focus on their own global issues. But then, the unthinkable happened. Ross Cullum passed away. He did not survive his injuries, and suddenly the stakes skyrocketed to the moon. We are no longer talking about a simple assault or an accidental shooting. We are talking about a fatal tragedy. The loss of life changes absolutely everything, and the law does not take kindly to those who take a life, regardless of their age or their family name. The situation shifted from a quiet cover-up to a full-blown murder investigation, and my stomach just ties in knots thinking about it. Right around this time, young Rocco returned to Port Charles. He had been sent out of town to lay low and keep safe, and now he is back, completely unaware of the massive storm brewing right over his head. His parents, Lulu Spencer and Dante Falconeri, are breathing a sigh of relief. They genuinely believe that the nightmare is over, that the agency has moved on, and that their precious boy is finally safe from harm. Oh, how wrong they are. And it just makes me want to reach right through the television screen and warn them to pack their bags and run. They are living in a terrible false sense of security because they do not realize that the local police department has not dropped the case at all. And more importantly, they do not realize that Anna Devane is now leading the charge. With Anna back in the commissioner's chair, driven by her own inner demons and a desperate need to find justice, she is not going to let this unsolved murder gather dust in a filing cabinet. She is going to dig, and she is going to dig deep until she unearths every last dirty secret. This brings us to the most agonizing part of the whole story, Dante's desperate actions as a father. Dante is a good man, a dedicated police officer who has sworn an oath to uphold the law. But when it comes to his flesh and blood, his protective instincts took over completely. We know that there is missing evidence from the night of the shooting at the pier, and we know that Dante is the one who hit it. He crossed a massive line, compromising his integrity, his badge, and his entire career, all to shield his son from a life behind bars. As a mother, I can completely understand the primal urge to protect your child at all costs. You would walk through fire for them, wouldn't you? But Dante is playing a very dangerous game of cat and mouse. He is trying to keep this massive secret buried while working right alongside a woman who is trained to spot a lie from a mile away. If Anna catches even a tiny whiff of a cover-up, she will tear the entire precinct apart to find the truth, and Dante will be caught right in the crossfire of her righteous fury. And let us not forget the fragile state Anna is in right now. Because she is hallucinating and dealing with the ghost of Peter August, she lacks the compassion and the grace she might have normally shown to Dante and Rocco in the past. She is on a relentless crusade. If she uncovers the missing evidence that Dante buried, she will not just arrest Rocco, she will have to arrest Dante as well. The thought of Dante being stripped of his badge and thrown in jail for obstruction of justice is just too awful to contemplate. Lulu would be absolutely destroyed by this. She has fought so hard to build a stable, loving home for her family, and to lose both her son and her partner to the criminal justice system would shatter her world into a million pieces. They are all walking on incredibly thin ice, and with every single step Anna takes closer to the truth, you can practically hear the ice cracking beneath their feet. It is a tragedy waiting to happen, and my heart aches for the pain that is surely coming their way. I sit here thinking about young Rocco, too. He is just a boy who made a terrible, tragic mistake, and now the heavy weight of a man's death is resting on his young shoulders. He must be terrified inside, hiding behind a brave face while his parents try to shield him from the severe consequences. But the truth always has a way of coming into the light, especially in a town like Port Charles. You can only run from your mistakes for so long before they catch up with you and demand a heavy price. Will Danny's testimony be enough to force Anna's hand? Will she find the breadcrumbs that Dante so desperately tried to sweep away? I am on the edge of my seat, waiting to see if Anna will actually cross that line and put handcuffs on the son of her dear friends. It is a heart-wrenching collision between the absolute letter of the law and the fierce, unconditional love of a family trying to survive a nightmare. I just know that the upcoming episodes are going to be filled with tears, shouting matches, and broken hearts. It is times like these that make me appreciate the quiet, peaceful moments in my own life, sitting on my porch far away from the drama of the police station and the mob. But oh, I would not miss a single second of this story for the world. We will just have to keep watching, keeping these beloved characters in our thoughts, and waiting to see how this tragic puzzle finally comes together. Thank you for letting me share my heart with you today.